Hello, and we continue video. Today we're going to take a look at the Willpower Cup. The Willpower Cup going to be available now for 1 week, allowed the Psychic type Pokemon, the Dark type Pokemon, and also Fighting type Pokemon. Banned is, as far as I know at least, the Gardevoir, which has access to Charm, and Charm going to be one of the main moves that you're going to see a lot during this period of this league. Otherwise, you would be able to run the Ultra League. I already have a video on my channel for the best teams for the Ultra League. Check that out if you want to play this league instead. But let's go right into the meta for the Willpower Cup. Taking a look at the meta right now, we're going to see a ton of Dark types in the first 6 Pokemon there. 5 of them are Dark types, Mandibuzz and Umbreon. On top there, those super bulky versions there. Mandibuzz is a little bit higher than the Umbreon because of the fast move Air Slash, going to be able to do some damage against those other Dark types. Basically, you are a Dark type that beats Dark types and also Fighting types if you really need to. So this is going to be a very nice option there, as well as the weird thing about this cup, which makes this cup actually pretty interesting, is that we have a ton of Dark types and a ton of Charm users in this meta, but all Charm users basically are also part Psychic type. If you take a look at the Charm users in this meta, which are of course decent against those Dark types, we see here one is part Dark type as well with Liepard, which is kind of fun. But otherwise you have Wobbuffet, you actually have Shadow Wobbuffet, which is better than the normal one in this meta, which is kind of hilarious, but just for this meta. You have Galate, you have Gossitol, you have the Meowstic, you have Latias, you have, you basically only have the Psychic type Pokemon here. So you basically have Charm against Dark types, where Dark types are also super effective against the Charm users. So it's going to be a pretty balanced meta actually, what I think. I don't actually think that Charm is too strong there in this meta. It's still going to be pretty viable, but because basically every Charm user is weak to the Dark type moves as well, it's going to be an interesting one. Otherwise you see like normal Pokemon like here, like the Sableye or Umbreon in the lead, like in the top Pokemon there, but you also see Pawniard. Pawniard going to be a very interesting one because it's going to be a Dark type that has Dark type moves like Night Slash. That is also part Steel typing, which allows it to have only neutral damage from Charm users, which is going to be a key factor in this meta, especially as you're also going to be able to beat other Dark types with this. So Pawniard, definitely, if you have one, I think it's definitely worth it to use it. It's one of the best Pokemon in the meta. Otherwise, you have like something like the Rapidash, which is going to be very nice because it's basically neutral against everything that's in the meta. And you have Body Slam, Fairy Wind, which is kind of strong. You have Lugia, which is not really as good, to be fair. You have Raticate, which can beat other Dark types, which is cool. But otherwise, it's basically pretty much an interesting meta here. Like, I don't know, Fighting types like Machamp, I wouldn't really expect to be that good, but we have to see as well for them. Of course, all these Psychic types is Charm, going to be a nightmare for them. But in general, as you see also on the right side, the score is pretty, pretty much similar thing for all Pokemon here in the first, I don't know, top 40, 50, which means you're going to have a ton of Pokemon that have potential to be used here, which is going to make this meta definitely kind of interesting. The first team for this cup, I really wanted to make it a video like in general, or like a team around the Alolan Raichu here, because it seems a little bit off. It's an electric type that's so high up there just because of the part Psychic typing, and it's kind of an interesting Pokemon, so why not make a team around it? Problem with the Raichu is you would lose against most of the Dark types, not against Mandibuzz, which is very good for this Pokemon, but against most other Dark types you're going to have a little bit of a problem, so you're going to have 2 answers for them in the bag. But also, you kinda need to be a little bit aware about Charmers, so you at least want to have one Pokemon that can really deal with them as well in the back. So, what you can do here is basically what I have in the back here as well. The side swap here would be the Pawniard and the Drapion, one of those. You can use also other Dark and Poison types there. And then you have in the back something like the Obstagoon or the Scrafty, which will be able to beat most of the Dark types that you cannot beat with the Raichu itself. So this should be a pretty decent match together, especially Pawniard as a side swap. It looks very strong in this meta. The next team going to be one of the strongest that you can run, to be fair. You're going to have the Pawniard in the lead here. Pawniard will be one of the coolest Pokemon, of course. One of the strongest, as you can also see then in the team review there, but this thing can basically play out nearly every lead other than something like Fighting types. Fighting types are a little bit difficult for this Pokemon as you're going to get double super effective damage from counter against you. So you have 2 answers for those in the back. You have the Air Slash Mandibuzz, and you also have the Victini as your save swap here, Victini. Victini as a save swap seems very good in this cup because there's not a lot of Pokemon that really want to get into a 1 recreate of this Pokemon here, as recreate is one of the strongest moves here. And also, what you can do, if you just play out the lead, no matter if you win or lose, you're going to have nearly a perfect core in the back there between the Victini and the Mandibuzz. Both of them basically have perfect coverage together. So, like, Victini also going to be one of the best answers for all those Charm users. Of course, you're going to run a Quick Attack in this meta and not Confusion. The next team here, of course, if I say this is a Charm meta, it has to be a double Charm team, as we see the Sableye in the lead, which is actually pretty highly ranked. Even though it seems a little bit weird in this meta, but it still will be able to destroy basically fighting types and other psychic types and all those good stuff. While you have two Pokemon in the back that have both Charm, especially the Wobbuffet going to be very bulky. There are other options before, as I said before as well, like Glade, Shadow, Latias, stuff like this. Those would also work out, but this one I just put in there because they're cool and they're the bulkiest basically. But if you didn't see that yet, basically the Charm users here, if you go into the 2-shield scenario, they basically beat nearly everything other than something like other Charm users or something like the Victini. And for the Victini, we have our lead, which will be able to deal with that. So there's that. And also, you can decide which Pokemon you use as a safe swap here. The Gothitelle has access to a Rock Slide, which maybe catches some Victini off guard if they don't know the moveset. So that might be an interesting thing there as well. But yeah, this is definitely a team that you can run, which is very strong. Sadly. Team number 4 going to be a team around Umbreon here. Umbreon, of course, is a little bit weak against those Charm type users, and we have at least the Victini in the back that's really good against Charm. There are not a lot of really good answers to Charm. If you think about it, Charm only really gets resisted by Poison and Steel types, and basically, I mean, also by Fire types, which is like the Victini here, but basically Poison and Steel types. There's, I think, the Slow Bro, which is Poison and Psychic, like the Galarian version available. There's like one other random Steel type that is not Dark. So usually it's always like Poison Dark or Steel Dark. So it's kind of awkward for like Charm users. There are not a lot of good answers, but yeah, Victini is a decent answer, and also the Pokemon there as a safe swap, the Galarian Rapidash. Galarian Rapidash will be a safe swap here in my opinion, because it's just a little bit safer, and if you want to have an answer against Charm users that swap in against you, then you can go into the Victini instead. It's just a better core. And yeah, Galarian Rapidash will be a very safe Pokemon to swap in. There's basically nothing that resists the moves of it, and will be definitely a good one to use. The next team going to be more of a fun one here. We're going to have the Pawniard together with both Latias in the back there. Both of them will be able to be used in this cup, and both of them are kind of okay in this cup, especially Latias having access to Charm is of course again a very strong Charm user, and is also one of the only Shadow Charm users, which are going to do even more damage against those Dark types. But of course you also have to be a little bit careful because you're part of Psychic typing here. Again, this is more like a funnier team. You are going to have a lead there which is going to be able to deal with most Charm Pokemon in this meta, which is nice. But still, going to be an interesting one. I'm mostly going to play this team because it's just funny. But yeah, I kind of want to showcase that. By the way, look how nice the colors are from like the Latias and the Latios, basically just flipped around. The next team is also more a fun team, which definitely going to be able to work very well here, I think. Because what you're going to have here is going to be a triple Poison Dark type team. There are no ground types really in this meta right now. There are some Charm users in the meta which are all part Psychic type, so you're going to be able to use your Dark type coverage against those. And especially the Drapion going to look very nice in this current meta. You can use something else as well, of course. There are several Dark and Poison types. You have Overquill, you have the Hisuian Quillfish as well, which you can both use as well there instead of the lead or the Pokemon in the back. I just think that the lead itself has nice coverage with the Skunking there and has some nice pressure with the fast move. The Safe Swap itself just has a lot more pressure with the charge moves because of the crunch spam that you can do in this meta. And then at the end you can maybe just sweep people end game by debuffing their defense with Acid Spray. That's at least the most versatile team there. Of course you can just use any other of those Dark Poison types there, because I think they're going to be very overpowered in this meta. The final team you're going to be with the Sneasler in the lead. Sneasler going to be an interesting one here, as it's a fighting type that doesn't die to a Charm immediately, but still is a little bit of a squishy one, but will be able to deal with stuff like the Pawniard a little bit better. Of course, you can also use other fighters like Machamp to really deal with Pawniard if it's going to be a very strong Pokemon against you. But then we have the double Dark backline there, which is going to be one of the more common ones as well. Umbreon together with the Mandibuzz in the back going to be something that you're going to see a ton of times. I think the Mandibuzz is a better safe swap here, just because you have some more options against other dark types, but maybe even the Umbreon against those potential Charmies, that might be also pretty nice. But yeah, that's going to be it for this cup. Well, let me know in the comment section what you think about this cup, what team you're going to run. Are you going to play this cup or the Ultra League? If you enjoyed this video or if it helped you in any case, please leave a like on it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.